big slogan of ours is, what does it look like to make history for our club?
The belief is there. Go away and try and get these points and hopefully make the playoff line.
Like Fabrice said, we try and make history, and history has been made. So welcome all to another edition for the Orange and Blueprints podcast here in the Bayou City Soccer Network. We're gonna talk about this history. What is history being made? But once again, I'm your host Manny Olivares, and Diego's right there making history in the background.
What kind of history are you expecting me to make?
I don't know, man. You were making history, not getting hyped up. You were just like standing there, like I'm making history.
I'm making history. I'm ready. I'm locked in. Bald head reveal.
Ball
No,
head.
I'm kidding.
I'm already locked in, bro. I'm already locked in.
Oh my! Stop with every single episode. It's you wearing a team that doesn't matter. Oh my gosh!
Hey, it's open. If those who didn't know, it's opening weekend for baseball, and it's already locked in. Already locked in. Locked in. Diego knows. Diego knows the Mets ain't going with the World Series, so we all know that.
Oh my gosh. Okay. We knew that. No, okay. This isn't a baseball show, man.
this is locked in MLB show actually.
Welcome to Locked In MLB, all things baseball here with the Bayou City Soccer playlist.
Nah, it's good. It's all good love and banter, but those who love baseball, baseball is coming back. But those who love winning streaks and making history, this is the podcast for that because the Dash with this past weekend made history. It's really interesting if you think about it. This is the first time the Dash has won back to back in the opening two games in the season.
Ever.
It's wild because the NWSL has been here for more than 10 years, and this is the first time the Dash has done that. That's crazy. But we'll talk more about that. We'll talk more about that in a bit. I know Diego's like, I got my.
I mean, it's just that you mentioned the Fabrice quote now for like a record 50th time. Talk about making history there. There's a huge caveat that he understands. The team understands that there's not much history there. That's why it's so important to talk about these things because this is genuinely unprecedented, and from a team that isn't expected to do these kinds of things ever. I mean, we're gonna get into it when talking about the Boston Legacy game, but I think understanding that making history for this team is very different from making history if you're Gotham FC or if you're Kansas City. Like, we're talking about a team that doesn't get good things. We're talking about the Chicago Cubs of the NWSL.
What you talking about, man? We won the World Series 10 years ago. Exactly 10 years ago. So I don't know what you're talking
about. So we're talking about a team that desperately needs something, and I think this is right where the iron is hot and they're striking. So I think I don't know.
It's interesting. It's just interesting, just the way, like you say, I get it. Like it's a real interesting how the team is and where the team's at and what direction they're going at the moment. So let's talk about the game. The game that made history. A lot of things that made history in this game as well. So Boston Legacy, came in as, I think it was slight underdogs for this game. I think many people, many pundits thought Boston was going to be Boston will come back and make things right compared to their home opener game. But as you can see from the get-go, the Dash completely dominated this game. Of course, there was a few spells that Boston got a few moments in the game in the first half, but once uh, the first goal came in by King Event, well, let's talk about the first incident. Uh, Penalty was given for McKenzie Robbie. Uh, no doubt that should have been the first goal, but Malia Berkeley, she gave a good effort on the penalty, but I feel like Casey Murphy was even better on the save. So I think that was pretty much that on that. I think. Oh, and then of course before the second half started, Kiki slotted in the first goal uh, for the dash. So it was a really good one on that. And then of course after that, by the second half, the dash kept piling on the pressure, and of course, with a bad giveaway from Casey Murphy, gave Van Zanten her brace for that from Kate Rader to into an empty box for Kiki for that goal, and then literally like within 5 minutes as well, more pressure from the rookie Linda Ullmark that got into the box, was tackled. Could have been another penalty, but Kate Rader was there to sweep the ball and to score in the third goal. And before the game truly ended, Kiki with a cross inside the box, flying for a third goal, but yet it was ruled offside for that. But that was the game overall. Oh, and I forgot to mention as well, Kate Rader actually before that first goal, I think earlier in the second half, had a free kick that was ruled off because Maggie Graham, quote unquote, fouled Casey Murphy. I think it was a bad timing for Casey Murphy to get off their box, but also fouls a foul. Maggie did impede the goalkeeper from reaching the ball as well. So a little faults on both, but so that goal was roadside. The game ended 3-0. I think it was a good dominant performance, but I don't think no one thought it was going to be heavy one-sided for the Dash. I want to know what your thoughts and opinions are for this game. For you.
Yeah, I mean, you rarely see a team like the Dash dominate these kinds of games. I mean, I understand that, going into this, there was real question marks when talking about this Boston Legacy team. I mean, there's no semblance of an identity yet. There's not really much that we can learn from them. There's not much to know about this Boston Legacy team, and I think specifically a lot of the worries that at least Legacy fans would present to the table, I think were realized. A lot of the dangers, the threats that we really talked about when it came to speed, the physicality. You mentioned there were some dangerous chances there. I mean, the speed is something that I think the Dash still are not necessarily the strongest at defending. You really noted that in the one or two chances that got the Dash really into an uncomfortable place. However, I think it's the same thing as the Gotham FC game. Boston just with careless fouls that got them into a difficult spot. Red card or not, you can't be giving away those fouls in dangerous areas, because then you're relying on a Casey Murphy to make those kinds of saves game in and game out, which, to be quite honest, is an impossible ask. I think yes, this is a great win for the Dash, but looking at Boston and kind of the disastrous run that they've kind of gone on to kind of start the season, they're one of two teams to go 0-2. I think understanding that the Dash are making a positive history and the newest kids on the block are making a negative spell in history. And all the while watching the other kid in the expansion block, Denver Summit, have a much more positive outlook to the season and a much more positive start. It's all signs to get closer to the panic button for Boston, but I want to shift the focus a little to kind of what I saw from the Dash. I mean, Kiki Van Santen. I mean, can we talk about what a player she is? I think last season there was a lot of upside, and I don't think anybody was doubting that. But again, conditioning her to match fitness. The whole thing of the coming back from injury, and then you see the glimpses getting called up, and all of these bright spots and all of these positives, and then you get a performance like this, and really what is I would label her first full season back from injury, and like 100% match fitness, and she does this. I think that's a sign of an unbelievable talent, and I don't understand how Dash fans aren't screaming at their TVs every time a Kiki makes a move, a Maggie makes a move, a Linda Ullmark does, a pressure move. You're getting players like these on every given night. Whereas the past 8 years of this franchise, you've seen arguably no promise from developed players, from youth, from anywhere. I mean, this is unbelievable. You don't get these wins unless you're a core and a culture, and we have arguably never seen that from the Dash. And I think that's the difference maker. You see Kansas City, you see Washington, you see Orlando. Orlando was always known as the team who really couldn't win at all, but the moment they finally fledged out their culture, they won everything. And I think the Dash are looking like that team that has the culture, and now we're having players to back it up. A player like Kiki having a standout game. I don't think we should expect her to, be the goal scoring threat. But I mean, having the confidence to say, hey, Clarissa Larisse is not hitting the back of the net. Robbie's not hitting the back of the net. That's okay. I can. I think that's phenomenal, and I think that's a sign of a great team, and that's what we saw against Boston. If you were to honestly ask my thoughts.
Yeah. And so it's really interesting of the moments you think of the culture. You can see in the picture highlight, the culture is being there. The culture it's a different outlook compared to how most the Dash was teams was formed especially last year. I think the culture was trying to be uh I think developed and recognized and established, and it shows more now in these performances. Maybe last week's performance was hard to see because it was against a San Diego team, and San Diego that probably with the upgrades they had was probably a contender for a W Shield. So it was understandable, maybe just that one score line, and you're like, okay, let's see. But this compared to, all right, we'll get it. A Boston team that has zero coaches, that's starting from the ground zero and profiting their opportunities on that. I don't know about culture, but KC, they lost to Chicago last week, and they're losing to right now 3-0 to Seattle. So that's I don't know if that's the Chris Armas effect, but I was gonna let you
It
know
is
that
the Chris Armas effect. What do you
that's
mean?
I know that's the shit. No, that's the shit. That's his boy, Chris Armas from Manu. But I think, but not only that, just the culture and everything. But I think the culture you have right now is helping the new players, the rookies. I think even though I think Kiki stole the headlines, and deservedly so, she stole the headlines in many ways because a player that's versatile that Kiki has played sometimes in her college in the defense, mostly in the midfield, and now with Fabrice right now she has been pivoted more in the forward line as a winger and as a nine. As she knows that, but the coach has helped the rookies. I think Kate Rader was had a I think if Kiki didn't have the brace, I think Kat Rader was should have been the player of the match for me because the goal and assist for her second game in WSL has been massive. She's the one that's pushing the forward line, getting into the wing, and not feel scared to make a cross. But also, not only her, Linda Omar
Mhm,
did her first assist as well,
mhm,
and could have got awarded for a penalty for her getting inside of the box. And of course, we mentioned last week, Leah Klenke. Again, she has contributed to another a clean sheet for this game. And of course, look like K Fase looks like her injury is not that bad. Look like she will be out for a couple more games. Seeing how her progress is going, and also you have Kate Harden as well, coming in for her first NWSL appearance, and she put out a performance as well. So I think it just shows like these rookies and this culture is different. I feel like previous dashes, the rookies come in and they, I don't know, maybe the pressure gets them and they're like a deer in the headlights and just not develop. And like I could count you many other names that the rookies come here and like, just recently, I'll just name you some right now. Cameron Tucker, Madison Desaino, uh, Jennings. She was supposed to be like a new left back, and she just came here half a season and retired from professional soccer from just being here. And you have all the other players as well. That's like the one forefront that came in my head. And this, was interesting. All those players was brought in the same year as Avery Patterson,
Mm-hmm.
and it's crazy. And those players are nowhere near. But it just shows you how different this team is compared to other years. You got anything else for about the rookies?
No, I mean, I think it's unbelievable. I agree with what you're saying that the culture has definitely shifted. And I think also understanding that, I mean, we are getting rookies from the arguably two best schools in the country,
Yeah.
in Duke and UNC. I think those are programs that are built to build pros. I'll say that. I think Duke and UNC are phenomenal schools,
Mhm.
and it shows with the results in the College Cup and everything. And you see players transition. I mean, not just the rookies, but look at a player like Paige Nilsson, who's, I mean, uh, been also phenomenal defensively. I
Mhm.
think that's also a player that outside of the youth has been really phenomenal this year in the first two games, and she's, you know, a UNC alum.
Mhm. Exactly.
So I think it's not a question of, are like the rookies legit. It's they've been born and bred excellence since they were in college, and I think understanding that gives us a, oh, this makes sense, instead of where is this coming from. I think
Yeah.
Raider was phenomenal. I think Raider was phenomenal. It was a player that I was kind of struggling to see adapt in preseason, and I definitely see the strides now. I think uh,
I think she flew under
her,
the radar for
oh,
mostly everyone.
all right. I'm gonna ignore that, but I'm gonna ignore that pun by our co-host right here. But I think definitely her pressure and her ability to press the ball was phenomenal. Ullmark especially. Ullmark um, fits fits like a glove under the Fabrice system because of her ability to, press high and really maintain that energy um, for 60-ish minutes and for even longer. I think that's something that you really lacked, especially within talking about Avery Patterson's first year, since you made that comparison. And players were able to have a high level, but for 20 minutes, for 35
Mhm.
minutes. Now you're seeing players have that level for 60, 65, 70, 80, a full 90. That's the difference. That's what gets you wins. That's what gets you into the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's what you that's what gets you trophies. That's really what
Yeah.
gets you trophies. And I think we're starting to exhibit that. And now, obviously, each and every game, we're going to see this, and we're going to talk about this when we talk about our next game, Angel City. Um, is this a fluke? Is this, a magic homecoming, or the honeymoon phase for this Dash team? We don't know. Obviously, we can't ever know because we can't predict the future. But you see a player like Maggie Graham, and you say, hey, she was excellent for the entirety of her short season. And I don't expect every single rookie to tear their ACL and us have a completely derailed season. I don't see that I might not be a future teller, but I don't think that's very likely. So I will remain positive about the whole situation because, I mean, Manny, I'll be frank. When have you seen the Dash be that good with that young and promising of a team?
Yeah, I think never because it's never
Never.
if they're
Never.
that good, it's with either with against a weak side like Boston or like a side that literally took the Dash like for granted and that let their guard down, moments like that is with older experienced players or players that are not that young compared to the side that we have right now. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a whole different dynamic right now.
100%.
So, but it's like I think like going to your quick point, just touching the point, the rookies that they have, like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I was Rudy was I think it was Rudy that went to the game. He's like, oh, I think Linda Ullmark. She looks like she gassed out. Look, she's out, but she played for the whole 90 minutes. That just shows that
And
she
he
like
played at a pretty high level.
yeah, and under freak on peak Houston Heat as well because this game was
Mm-hmm.
remember it was at 3. It was in at 7:30 when the sun is down. Is when the heat was on.
Mm-hmm.
So just to have that intensity and the rookies, all of them mostly stayed for the whole 90 minutes except of Kate 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 Radar, you know, came out for defensive substitutions to maintain the lead. But it shows real interesting how the game is going moving forward with these players. But we'll see how it goes next this coming weekend. But before we talk about that, we did receive final details of the move. I know last week podcast we mentioned about the move from Yazmeen Ryan and Delanie Sheehan. So this last week they were actually confirmed that they were transferred to the Denver Summit for a whopping 800,000 in allocation money plus with a 200 was it, let me give me one with 200 as well, okay, for expansion money. So a little bit more different than regular allocation money. The only thing with the expansion uh money that it does not expire at the end of this season, it does come back into next season as well. So it's just a little extra cash for either they want to use it for this season or next season to do that. So plus they do actually get an extra incentives as well if they could performance and so it could be lead up to a total of 1.1 billion funds for the dash. And side note,
Billion.
million.
Okay, I thought you said billion. I was like,
I know if it's a billion, I'll be like the dash flees the Denver, but they still
the
fleece
Dash
them
fleeced
anyways.
the
They
entire
still fleece
league.
them. This still fleece them though. They still fleece them because if last year Yasmin Ryan came from Gotham for a um, for a 400,000 transaction and Delay Sheehan came on the free as a free agent. So flipping that over to almost a 700,000 profit for two players. No offense, we're just gonna lay it out here for two players that combined did 4 goals combined and 2 assists. That's good business. I don't know about y'all. That's good business. I know people are sad because I think
That's a dang good deal. I'd make that deal.
I think people are a little bit sad because I think people want to see. I think most of the people want to see Yasmin Ryan retake her career under this new regime, under to just bring the dash to like, oh, instead of a team that let your career die, oh, you can relive your career. But I think for that amount of money, I'll take that no matter what the deal is. That's really good business on regards of Angela for that
Mhm.
uh for that sum of money. I don't know about you, Diego. You got any thoughts for just after seeing that transaction went
No,
through?
despite me being sad that you didn't understand the reference that I made with that little joke, um,
I did, but
I'm happy
I
with
had train thought I was just trying to go.
you're good. You're good. It was a dang good deal. Dang good deal. I'd make that deal. No,
Yep,
you've seen that movie?
yep.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, okay, amazing. Okay, I can get back to my thoughts now. I was so disappointed. I was like, no, Manny, don't do me like this.
Oh, I've seen the movie.
No, okay, so yeah, I think it's phenomenal business. I think you rarely see those kinds of things, and with this front office, they've kind of done this 2 or 3 times. I mean, they flipped Diana Ordonez, Maria Sanchez. They've made a huge overhaul, and this is like I think the best example. Yaz and Delanie didn't really fit into the system. I think we could very clearly tell that within the first half of their first season, I would say.
I think Delanie Sheehan
I
fit
think
more than Yas.
yeah, but I think that understanding that they were always going to be a package deal
Mm-hmm.
and understanding that you have to get them both to work. And I think Denver really has done a better job at that. I
You know,
mean,
today was the first time they started both of them.
yeah, they were extremely effective against Gotham today. And I think that it just was bound to happen, and to get such a good deal out of it, I think it's phenomenal.
Mhm. Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. I think it was a really good deal, a really good asset for the team. So for them, and so it's really interesting how moving forward, how their careers will do and how much this money will uh actually help the Dash. Even though Dustin does not believe no big signing will come in, but I think it's a real interesting
Sam Kerr again. It's been a year,
Sam
and she's
Kerr,
joining NWSL.
Bunny Shaw, uh, I forgot the defender from Chelsea.
Naomi Gurma.
No, the one's going on free agency. Bright.
Uh,
I forgot. It's Bright something.
okay, yeah.
It's Bright. It's something Bright. But there's a lot of good, a lot of WSL players that are willing to uh expire their contracts. Let their contracts
Yeah.
expire to have a bigger either another transfer in another Premier League or come to NWSL. So has good leverage for
Mhm.
for Millie Bright. That's it. Yeah. Uh, for to come to the NWSL. So hopefully the Dash can use that money to boost their squad as well. But
Mhm.
speaking of teams that boosted their squad, that's the Dash opponent for this weekend. Angel City FC at the moment currently this is without tonight as well. NWSL has some games going on tonight just to get ahead of the fixture congestion for the CONCACAF Women's Champions Cup. So that's why
Mhm.
we're having some midweek games today. But before at the moment, if the results hold still, because at the current San Diego is beating Portland, another undefeated team at the moment. Maybe not after this today, but at the moment it will be a clash of the top two of the table: Angel City FC versus the Houston Dash at BMO Stadium in Los Angeles.
Could
Kind of
you
fun.
believe that they'd be the top two teams?
No, no. I knew Angel City would have a better season, but I just never thought it was going to be this much better. But I think
Mhm.
once you look down at the roster and how things are playing out, I think taking a step back, you're like, why I haven't seen this coming. uh, at the moment, Angel City has scored 7 goals and only conceded 1 goal during these last 2 games. And might, in fact, to opponents, maybe I would say Chicago Stars and Bay FC. So maybe not the best teams in the NWSL, but just the way they dismantle them. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's the bigger impression than just the teams they face. I think they were both games they were in total dominance control. I think that's very interesting how they will do on that. And I think when you look at the roster, you're like Angel City is very attack heavy, but I think the new additions that they got, and the way their players have been developing, I think it's just really interesting how cohesive the team is. I don't know about you. What you think of this Angel City FC so far this season?
Dangerous. Dangerous. It's a tough place to play. It's one of the healthiest cultures in NWSL. I would make the argument.
I think I
I
think
think.
I think other than Portland and Seattle, yeah, I think there'll be
Hey, throw Gotham in there. Gotham's fans are great, but
or even
I get
Washington with Rowdy Field.
yeah,
So like I
but
think yeah, go ahead.
it is a tough place to play, and I think it's even tougher when you have this kind of team that's high octane, that presses, that is going to pounce. That you mentioned dominance. Uh, this Angel City team is just so dangerous, not just because of the talent that they have, but you look at like everything that's been going right for them, and you kind of like, no matter the situation they're placed in, they they can win their games. And I think it's kind of insane to look at this team last year and look at this team now, because they overhauled. Yeah, they picked up a lot of players, but the majority of their squad is very similar, which
Yeah,
is kind of insane. And I like personally can't believe it.
I think it's very interesting. Well, I'll finish your thought before I answer mine. The gut
No,
thought.
you're all good.
I think
Like,
it's
Angel City likes to have the ball and they get the ball.
yeah,
But when they don't, they're still dangerous.
yeah,
Like Chicago game, they had 60% of the ball and it
yeah.
showed. They dominated. But against Bay FC, they had a little bit harder of a time to get the ball. And I think eh, they didn't show. Right? That's the thing. I think whether they have the ball or not, I think they're dangerous. I think they a player like Riley Tiernan isn't going to care whether she gets the ball 4 times or 40 times. She's going to score. And I think that's what you really have to stop.
I think it's very interesting. We got to think about it like the way I look at it. Uh, Alexander Strauss came in somewhat mid-season last year. You got to think
Mm-hmm.
about how Angel City was last year. They lost Alyssa Thompson in summer. This new coach came in after same lady was the caretaker for half the season.
Mm-hmm.
He had a winning philosophy in Bayern Munich. It was kind of hard the second half because kind of transitioning from Angel City, the way they I think the way they operated and the way Sam Lady had the team going was very hard. You only
Mm-hmm.
thought Alyssa gone, how would that affect? It did affect them scoring ability, but Giselle Thompson carried the team and Riley Turner for
Mm-hmm.
last season. But this season has been a whole different shift.
Mm-hmm.
I think two players that were huge, maybe under the radar signings, but huge.
Mm-hmm.
Ari Borges from Louisville, who I think she was an okay player, maybe not a player that like jump off the page. But what she's doing right now with Angel City is it's a completely different, a night and day difference of a player she is. She was used more as a attacking, central attacking midfielder, but now she's a little bit more in the eighth spot, playing more in the midfield, and she's what's needed in this team. She's connecting
Yeah.
passes, she's making that forward, the pressing the ball goals, and so she's been a huge difference for the team. And also Emily Sams in the backfield. It's actually what's needed for the team in the backfield, because of course you had the NSO veteran Sarah Gordon, but Savy,
Mhm.
Savy King had the procedure. You don't know what was her timeline getting back. So you needed a veteran defender to have that support in the back line to get away from
Mhm.
those leaky goals they were getting. And of course, I think everyone's forgetting this player. I forgot about this player. Saviz Jean Sister, the
Mhm.
Icelandic striker. She's having a season right now. 2 goals and 2 assists in the first 2 games.
Having a season.
And so it's just, and from last season, she rarely did it. She only did last season. Of course, she came mid-season, 1 goal and 1 assist. So she already
Mhm.
doubled her performance from last year in two
Yeah.
games. And so that just shows that this team is a different beast. It's a different animal. And I think this matchup coming up, it just shows these two teams, maybe the Dash are a little bit more proven just because they face a San Diego Wave. But no doubt, I think these two match is the matchup to see
Yeah.
who is showing more of a true story, Angel City or the Houston Dash. So
Yeah.
we'll see that matchup right now. So let me go with your prediction, Diego. How
Okay.
would you
Oh,
see this game turn out, given what we discussed about Angel City?
I mean, it's high octane play. I think phenomenal movement. I think they know how to press the ball, but I don't think they don't necessarily love to press the ball. They really, I think, are more comfortable sitting in. Um, so I I see that playing to their advantage. I see a lot of goals. I think this is really going to be the Dash's offensive challenge because we haven't faced an offense as strong as this one. And I don't think that really, I don't know if we're prepared for it. I don't think we have to be prepared for an offense like this because we only play them twice a year. I think it's going to be high scoring. I'm going to go 2-3. I think the Dash are going to keep on rolling. I think I'm going to continue my positivity. I think if there's any time to be positive as a Dash fan, I urge you be positive now.
I think for me, I'll do the opposite.
Wow.
When there's always a high scoring game, potential high scoring game, it tends to be the opposite. It tends to be a 1-0 game.
Mm,
It tends to be a 1-0 game. And I feel like it's gonna be a 1-0 game.
okay.
And I'm gonna feel like it's gonna be more on the Dasher side for 1-0.
Mhm.
Reason why? They already faced a San Diego Wave. San
Mhm.
Diego Wave, if you remember this game, Houston fans, San Diego was on the Dash's throat throughout the whole
Mhm.
game, and the Dash were strong enough mentally, were structurally sounded
Mhm.
to handle that offense with players that had huge goals in NWSL. So now they're doing it
Mhm.
again, maybe to players that maybe have this good form, but are not really proven until now. So
Mhm.
we see if the Dash can do the same thing and withstand the pressure, maybe get another exactly how they did, another quick
Mhm.
counter-attacking goal, and see how well they do in this round. And I feel like the Dash with that experience alone, and it was one game, has enough for them to know, okay, this is the game plan we have for San Diego. Maybe we're not go beat for beat how we did for San
Mhm.
Diego, but at least Fabrice can know, hey, we face a team that's high pressure in attack like San Diego, and we won. We have
Mm-hmm.
another team who is at the moment prematurely proven, but we can have the same mindset and go out and get another gritty 1-0 game and still come out on top.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that could be the approach, and the Dash could win as 1-0. And I feel like this time the goal scorer instead of Mackenzie Robbie, I think it's gonna be Kiki Van Zanten. We'll get
Okay,
that
so
one.
you think she's gonna keep on scoring and keep on that momentum?
Yeah,
I don't know. I haven't loved the idea of midfielders being our leading scorers, so I want to remain positive about our strikers.
yeah, but I feel like she's playing more in the nine position than actual midfielder. I feel like the midfield is more of
Yeah,
Danny Calaprico,
yeah.
Maggie Graham, what's her name? Kate Radar and Linda Ullmark. That's the midfield. And I feel like she Kiki has been more into like a second striker, not a full
Mhm,
number nine, but the striker just underneath uh Mackenzie Robbie because I think of her pace and just her I think her composure now in front of goal has
mhm.
been a lot different. So I think she has involved because I don't think she's playing more as a midfield. I think she's playing more as the second nine.
That's fair. I don't know. I don't want this. I don't know. That brings up a question. Do you think she's going to be a permanent nine moving forward, or a permanent attacker moving forward?
I think in the way if she continues to perform how she did last weekend, and even when she was subbed down again for um for Fase, you know, I think she has shown that she's hungry. She
Mm-hmm.
sees these rookies. I think she's recovered. Of course, no one can control, what's happened in the past. I think just
Mm-hmm.
recover lost time from her rookie season, with that leg
Mm-hmm.
injury, and so
Yeah.
she's trying to recover from lost time, and she has that extra motivation. So I think that she has hunger. She wants to be proven that she belongs in this league, belongs in this team. So I do see her try to push, especially with this, like you mentioned, rookies that came from proven universities, proven academies that are basically ready to play, ready to show. So, so we'll see how that goes. We'll see. But I
Mm-hmm.
do, if she continues the way, you're a fool to bench her. I'm sorry, you're just a fool to bench her at this point.
Yeah. No, I like your reasoning. I just am uncomfortable with the fact that I'm going to have to call her an attacker because it has been 2 games. I think I want to see more of her at the nine or at the second, and I think then I will feel more comfortable because right now I don't like the idea of midfielders being our leading scorers because that's a huge problem. That is a huge problem. But yeah, I fair. I don't know. Every time we go west, there is high scoring.
They've always been high scoring. But remember the first time that we beat Angel City. We only beat Angel City once,
Mm-hmm.
and it came from the
That Paige Nielsen goal.
Paige Nielsen goal, the revenge goal.
Yeah, yeah.
So hey, I don't mind seeing it as well. Paige Nielsen maybe making that score as well. So
You
you
think
just
she'd
never know.
celebrate?
I think she celebrated the first time she scored that goal.
Yeah, she did. She did.
Yeah, I was about to say. I think she celebrated already.
uh,
So so that's why I say I do believe it's gonna be that 1-0 game. So we'll see. We just don't know. But we gotta remind you all guys that game is at 9 p.m.
yeah, I don't know. That means it's at 10 p.m. for me.
9 p.m. on Prime Video.
Ooh. Are you ready to rumble?
Now, like when I think of Prime Video, I think of Thursday Night Football. I don't know why. But like we're going from baseball to soccer to football.
That's what you get at Orange and Blueprints. You get an incoherent mess with 2 lovable co-hosts.
Yeah. So I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So I'll say for y'all, for who wants to stick out, especially us, that we have to stick around uh to see the players' comments and after the post game. It's gonna be a long night. It's gonna be a long
It
night.
will be.
But 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 that's our predictions for today to this game and for this week. We'll see how the dash for results and are we still be top of the table? You know.
I think we
Like,
should. Come on, let's be hopeful. Let's be
well,
hopeful.
at the moment, the results are favorable. You know, right now Seattle beat KC, Denver beat Gotham, Washington
Mhm.
tied. At the moment, Portland just came back with a goal, so they're tied, and they're not current. They're currently first place at the moment. So I'd say right now, if the results stand right now, perfect. That's a perfect. It'll be second and third racing this weekend,
Mhm.
but I'll still take that over any day. So we'll see we'll see how it goes. But thank you for all for sticking around for another edition for the Origin Blueprints podcast at the Bayou City Soccer Network. Please always look out for us at BayouCitySoccer.net. And if you always look for our social media, Bayou City Soccer on Instagram, X, formerly Twitter, YouTube, the Threads, the Blue Sky, the TikTok. So we'll see on that. We'll see everyone on that. But we always want to always thank for our sponsor, Uncle Gubby, Lotus Bravos, and We Got Soccer. So a lot of these coming up right now. You know, keep an eye always look out because we got more content coming up. The end of the show is wrapping up. I know the men's right now they're on international break for the World Cup. World Cup is coming up.
Mhm.
Man, you can't believe it, bro. Next week is April.
I can't. I
Next week
look,
is
man.
April.
I
Look.
I
Next week is
have
April.
to.
Next
I
week is
have to
April.
worry about where I will be working and where I will be living in 2 months. I don't want to think about this right now.
No, because in 2 months the World Cup starts, man. I don't care where you live in 2 months. I don't care about the World Cup.
Man, it's like I don't care where you're gonna be, but I'm gonna be watching. I'm gonna be watching the World Cup.
Yeah, man, I'll quit my day job and watch the World Cup. Man, for some reason, every time the World Cup
It's
comes,
gonna be at night.
you know, for site it's like it's a for every time the World Cup comes, either I'm on vacation, I'm not working, and I'm sitting on my couch watching the World Cup. It's like no plans, like it's not planned at all. But yet I'm watching every game. I don't know about this
Well,
year because
you
it's more teams, so I don't know. I can watch all those games all at one time.
well, you enjoy that, Manny. You enjoy that.
While Diego's on his phone watching the game and trying to figure out where he's gonna be at, where he's gonna live. But no, thank you for once again for another edition. So hopefully Dash can surprise us and get a win and be top of the table.
That's
So
crazy.
we'll, I'll be crazy. I mean, that's crazy enough just saying that,
That
but
is
actually seeing
crazy.
that
Top of the table.
will be like playoffs. We're talking playoffs.
We talking
But
playoffs.
yeah, but I think it's too early for that. But it'll be good indication. But thank you for us again. So hopefully next Wednesday we'll give you that and we'll see what the Dash season is going from here now. But thank you once again. Hope to see you next time.
Peace.